Hello guys, my name's Fireguy and welcome to Fireguy's Hot Scale. So this is the demo slash premiere episode of the Hot Scale, and I want to give a big thanks to Old School Heel and Talon for giving me the opportunity to make this happen. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. So first off, what is Fireguy's Hot Scale? So Fireguy's Hot Scale, if this demo episode does work out just fine, is a weekly review audio column where I will be reviewing that week's episode of Impact Wrestling. So this week we're going to be reviewing the Impact Wrestling episode that aired Thursday, June 1st, 2017. And for this episode, since it's the demo, I do have my personal rating system that I want to implement into this series. But for now, I think I'm going to keep it to a 5-star rating system. Everyone knows what that is. It's a lot more easier. And then if this demo episode does go through, then I'll be able to change to my new personal system just to make the series a little more unique and a little more interesting than just a normal star rating or a grading or grading. It's not even a real word. Yeah, so just like instead of like A, B, C, D or like 5 stars, it's a little more interesting than just the typical stuff you'd find on any other wrestling site that does reviews. So bear with me as this is the first episode. I do take notes during the matches, during the segments, but I want to make my review not about that. If you have time for me, if you have time to listen to me explain the match to you move for move, I feel like you have time to go watch these excellent matches on TV. It probably takes just as long to watch the match than it is for me to tell you move per move what happened. I know lots of written reviews do that. I understand because it's written. But for me, saying it orally is not a waste of time, but just way too long to do so. So I'll just be doing... I'll go over the main stuff that happened in the match, obviously. I have to properly give my review. But it's not going to be move per move what happened, okay? Also, please know witch hunts. You might not agree with my opinions or with my reviews or my star ratings as just my personal opinion. And the way I grade these matches segments are not just based on the quality of the match, but the characters involved, the storyline, and stuff like that. The ring psychology and if they follow the character suit or not. So yeah, we're basically gonna start off right now, guys. I've talked too long. We're almost 3 minutes into this video already. So yeah, let's start with this Impact Wrestling episode, guys. So the episode starts off with a long recap, a very long recap of the JB versus Josh Matthews feud. I feel like there was way too much time focused on that in the recap, but then we got a return. We got the return of Scott Steiner, and then we got a little recap of the main event scene with the triple threat that happened last week between EC3, James Storm, and Magnus. EC3 winning, and Alberto Patron somewhere there in the main event trying to get a spot at Slammiversary, and then there's Lashley on top of everyone else as champion. So, the first segment of the show, which I find very, very weird as TNA are trying to fight for ratings right now. I hope so anyways. Oh, sorry. I'm so used to saying TNA, guys. I'll probably say that lots. I mean Impact. It's no longer called TNA anymore. It's what happens when you've been watching it for like 14 years and you've been calling it TNA all your life. But anyways, Impact Wrestling. Yeah. So, Impact Wrestling should be going for ratings right now. And starting it off with a talk segment, I don't know. I don't think that's really how you're going to keep the viewers' attention throughout at least the first bit of the show. But anyways, EC3 opens the show. He comes out, but in the ring, there's like not an orchestra band, but like a band of like those, you know, those groups of people where they sing all in harmony. I don't really know the real name for them. But anyways, they're in the ring. There's a band in the ring. One has a violin. One has a big, I think it's a cello. I don't know my musical instruments. I'm not a musical kind of guy. Anyways, EC3 comes out, and it's celebration time. He's here to rant about him being number one contender, winning the triple threat, going against Bobby Lashley, and he names the band the Barber Quartet Family. So the band sings, they're basically singing he's number one contender over and over again, and just a bunch of number one contender jokes, and really, so EC3 brags about being number one, but then he promotes Slammiversary match against Bobby Lashley. Then he tells the band to play his fight song. So the fight song is basically the band saying, "You suck, Bobby Lashley," and stuff like that. Very comically, I guess. But then Alberto's music hits, and Alberto doesn't even have time to make it down the ramp that Karen Jarrett's music hits, the famous sirens of Double J, and Bruce, Karen, Tyrus, and Dutch Mantle all come out at the same time. I don't know why we needed like 3 authority figures that are coming out here. And Bruce says to calm down, even though nothing was even escalating. Like Alberto was just coming down the ramp. He says he's not an asylum here. The crazy people don't run this place. It's us now. And he says that if these two want to fight, then they're gonna fight. Alberto tonight will defend his GFW title against EC3, but EC3 must put his #1 contendership on the line as well. And just for fun, they're making it a 6 sides of steel match. So overall, that was the end of the segment. I thought it was really, really, really good. I would give it about 3.5 stars, really. It was very, very good. I like the quartet thing, the orchestra band thing. It was very, very unique. It's not something we see in Impact Wrestling that often, so it was very, very cool to see that. It was pretty funny too. EC3's mic work is still top notch in Impact Wrestling compared to lots of other people, so just that alone made it really, really good. It was a bit odd, the transition with Alberto and then right away the Authority coming out. It was quite strange. I was like, Alberto didn't even make it to the ring. It was just very strange. But yeah, that's that's like a huge match. Alberto versus EC3 for the GFW title and the #1 contendership. And they're making it 6 sides of steel. So the only reason why this segment loses points is because they made this up at the last minute. How are they supposed to promote this match an hour and 40 minutes before this thing's probably going to take place? This should have happened like near the end of last show after the triple threat. A small 50-second segment that could set this up a lot more easier. Well, they would at least have a week to promote it. Like this, there's no one's gonna watch a show and be like, oh, okay, gotta stay. Well, I mean, like, there's some that are gonna do that. They're gonna stay and be like, oh, cool, this thing happened later tonight. But I mean, like, they could have got more viewers by promoting it a week ahead. That's the only thing they had to do. And there's no reason to make it 6 sides of steel. There's no reason for why that gimmick must be used. EC3 doesn't have any outside interference to deal with Alberto, and Alberto doesn't have any outside interference to deal with EC3. Even if EC3 is the heel, he's still a lone wolf. He doesn't have like henchmen working for him like Tyrus or people like that. So there was very little point to making it 6 sides of steel. And even with the match itself, which I'll discuss later on, there was no point to making it 6 sides of steel. Anyways, on to the first match here, guys, where it's Eli Drake with Chris Adonis and at his side versus Moose for the Grand Championship. So this match is very special as the 3 judges at ringside are Dutch Mantle, Scott D'Amore, and Bruce Pritchard. Very interesting. I don't know. They don't really explain why they came out. I guess it's a big match, so they're the judges. I really don't know. So round 1, Moose controls right off the bat from the bell with a big boot, and then a few chops, throws, and kicks. And he controls for the better first minute and a half of the match. But then Eli Drake kind of like cowers in the corner, and Moose tries to get close to him. Well, he taunts the crowd after. No, not taunts the crowd. What am I saying? He taunts Eli, turns around, does his celebration thing, and that gives time to Eli to jump for the leg, and then controls Moose for the last minute and a half of the match with leg work, and then just a variety of leg works like kicking the legs, like body drop on the legs, stuff like that. Body drop on the legs. What am I saying? Anyways, and then at the end of the match, Eli Drake hooks in a figure 4 lock, but the bell rings, and that's the end of round 1. So we go to judges' decision, and it's Eli Drake who wins the first round, clean sweep. So I guess 30 points to 27. I didn't take down the scores, but that's probably, I remember that it was a clean sweep. Eli Drake won 10s across the board. So Eli Drake wins round 1. Alright, so for round 2, so Eli is back after the leg right at the beginning of the match. Moose tries to fight back. He kicks him in the stomach. they keep fighting back, but Eli gets his Eli still controls the leg. Eli drags him toward the ring post, and Eli goes to the floor and then smashes Moose's leg against the post, kind of like what Gail Kim does with the ring post, but kind of Eli Drake just swings the leg into the post. Does that a few times, but Moose gets his legs around Eli and pushes him towards the post, hitting his face towards it, and then Eli tries to it looked like a tornado DDT after from the top rope, but Moose counters with a drop kick off the top, sending Eli crashing to the floor basically. And then they go back into the ring. Moose hits a power bomb and then a senton, then a moonsault, but no pin due to his leg. After the moonsault, Moose goes flying off and he's holding his leg. There's 10 seconds left. He's just freaking out over his leg. He's in pain, and the bell rings, and there's no pin. So he was so close from getting that pin there with that moonsault and the senton. The power bomb, the senton, then the moonsault. But no, his leg got was too injured because of Eli Drake's work on it, and it just ended up not being able to get the pin. But for that match, Moose does win. I think it was 10, 9, and 10. So not a clean sweep that time, but still very, very good. And now on to round 3. So Eli beats down Moose from the get-go with chops and kicks and punches. Then Moose gets a big kick to Eli. Eli goes up to the top rope, but gets power bombed off by Moose, and then a suplex. Then not a back body drop. They start trading chops after that, chops, kicks, but Moose gets the upper hand in that ordeal. Then Adonis goes after Moose's leg, holding him near the ropes so he can go after Eli. And then after Eli hits a back body drop on Moose, but then the bell rings and round 3 is over. So yeah, I had an issue there. Holy crap! Can't you read my own handwriting? That's sad. That's very sad, people. That's very sad. I guess I'll become a doctor. But yeah, I don't know why I'm reading my notes. I memorized pretty much the most of these episodes. So, anyways, so we go to judge's decision for round 3. The way I wrote it down here, it makes it seem like Moose got lots of offense in, but it's announced that Moose wins with a clean sweep. I think it was 10-10-10 for Moose. Moose wins round 3, so that means he wins and retains his grand championship. So I don't know how it came off as good for Moose, but if you watch the match, round 3 looked really, really, really equal and leaning towards Eli Drake's side. So when they said that Moose retains the championship, I'm like, what? I was like, whoa. I watched the match, and I'm like, yeah, I guess it's a bit equal, but I mean, like, I feel like Eli had more control and stuff like that over the match. The way I wrote it down here in my notes, makes it seem like Moose got more offense, but that's because I was writing the bigger stuff that happened throughout the match. But yeah, so Moose retains the championship. That was a bit weird to me. I was like, wow, is Eli Drake actually gonna win this? Like this randomly in a match that wasn't even that promoted. So yeah, I wasn't sure at all. I was like, whoa. Anyways, so I gave this match 3 stars. 3 stars. Decent. The decent match. I feel like it's one of the better Grand Championship matches they've ever done. Like, it could have been what Aaron Rex and Drew Galloway probably would have been. Would have been, I mean, if Drew Galloway wasn't out with an injury and then go against Eddie Edwards and all that shenanigans. And I don't think we've ever had a good Grand Championship match like this. The ring psychology was there. The leg work was very, very well done. That was the whole main story of the match, was Moose trying to fight his own injury to try and beat Eli, but it went to a judge's decision. It was just overall a very good match, and Eli Drake keeps improving in the ring. At the beginning, I'll admit, he wasn't the greatest. His mic work was perfection though, and now over time, he is getting so good in the ring, and it's so apparent. I don't know why Impact is not pushing him to the moon right now. Everyone wants him up here, up top, when he's really somewhere in the middle, and like middle is pushing it. He really needs to get pushed a lot more, and I hope that maybe he gets this Grand Championship, as it'll maybe elevate him a little more up the card slowly but surely. So we head to the back, and cameraman asks Ali what happened with Rosemary last week. Ali says she doesn't know. She's confused about why Rosemary helped her. They've never talked before. She's scared of her. But then Rosemary comes out of nowhere, and Ali asks why she helped. And Rosemary says that the hive told her to save her from the danger. So that's very interesting. That's basically what happened. She says a few other things like, we'll help you, we'll save you along the way, and stuff like that. Then she walks off. So I don't think we'll ever really know what the hive is, guys. I think it's just gonna be part of her character for a while. It's gonna be like Sister Abigail in WWE, even though I don't want to mention WWE here. That was the best comparison I could come up with. Sorry. But yeah, but I don't think we're gonna get as much information about the hive, because it's not a single person, it's like an entity. So we'll see what happens with that. And now we get a promo from Matt Sydal for the X Division match that's happening tonight, Andrew Everett versus Low Ki. He says that we must keep our eye on this match, as this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to change the future. Is Low Ki going to retain the championship? Is Andrew Everett going to win it? He says, but the eye should be on him, Matt Sydal, as he is the best X Division wrestler. He's going after whoever has that title next. So yeah, that was a bit weird, having a promo from Matt Sydal to promote a match that doesn't even involve him. Usually it's from one of the wrestlers involved in the match. That was still interesting to have an outside perspective. So overall, very good. Now we move on to a knockouts match here, as Ali, I think, has her first singles match in quite a while versus Amber Nova. So Amber Nova is an enhancement talent brought in. And then Pope says a very, very cringy pedophilic comment that, oh man, I cringed so bad when he said it. When Dave Pencer announced that she was from the Garage, I think it was the Garage, yeah. Pope was like, oh, I wish she was in my garage. I was like, oh man, that just made me cringe a bit too much. I just did not like that comment whatsoever. But anyways, so this match was a quick, not a squash really, but it was a very, very short match. Amber controlled for a bit too long, if I can say so myself. But then Ali went to, not rage mode, but like super intense mode, and started kicking her ass all over the place. And then she hits a Death Valley driver on Amber for the pin. So I give this match 2 stars. It was short. It was way too there's way too much offense on Amber Nova's part. But I really feel like Ali should have controlled way earlier on in the match, even though she's playing this gimmick of, oh, I'm a pretty little girl that can't fight. I feel like the thing's getting a little too old. They dragged it on for too long, so it's time for her to be like, oh yeah, I've been training for months with what's his name, Braxton. So I'm ready to fight, instead of just being like, oh, I still don't know how to fight after years of training, like, not years, but I mean, like, the whole storyline of her training with Braxton has been going on for a while now. So yeah, so there was this quick squash. Amber Nova looks really, really good in the ring. She was very confident for a TV debut. So maybe we'll see her later on down the road in Impact. So that's all I have to say for that match. After that match, they announced a first Impact live event. The first house show that TNA has done in ages. I'm so excited for it. It's Saturday, August 5th in Staten Island, New York at is it the Yankees ballpark? I think. I'm not a baseball fan. I don't know any of the teams. I think it's the Yankees ballpark, if I'm not mistaken. So they're doing ballpark tours. Obviously I feel like those venues are a bit weird. I never really liked the baseball park venues. I get it's a bit like, not old school, but like that kind of feel to it. But I don't know. I just don't see how people can like that. I would totally go anyways though, because it's Impact. They didn't announce who would be there on the promotional poster. They only showed about like 6-7 wrestlers, and that's not even final. Like you can't say off the poster who's going to be there, who's not. The promotional posters don't really guarantee you anyone that's going to actually be on the card. So after that, JB, so Jeremy Borash and Joseph Parks arrive in a golf cart, and they said, we're going to do this. We're going in the back. We're going to do this. So like, we don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see. Now it's on to the GFW Tag Titles Tournament finale as Latin American Exchange take on the Veterans of War. So this match was announced right before LAX's theme music hits that this is a no DQ match all of a sudden. So I'm going to talk about this later on. I absolutely hated that they put this in the match. This is like old school TNA booking that does not work. It just was so... It was not good. It was like, wow, they're back. It's like it was shades of the old TNA management coming back. And I'm saying TNA again. I'm sorry, guys. Impact. It was like it was shades of old Impact management, and oh well, whatever. I just I don't know. So, anyways, LAX come out, Veterans of War come out, and the match starts right away, very aggressively. It's an even start. Mayweather and Ortiz, yeah, it was Ortiz that started. Then all members get involved right off the bat. Wilcox jumps in, Santana jumps in, and they just beat down all four of each other. But then Homicide and Diamante get into the ring, as there's no DQ, so they can't stop them. And they jump Wilcox and Mayweather, and now it's a 4-on-2 beat down. Wilcox takes back control, though. He's the big guy. He can beef and destroy all five of the members on them. And Veterans of War control, but Santana sneaks behind, I think it was Mayweather, and it takes them out both. So he goes like, he sneaks up behind them crouching and hits them both behind the legs. They fall both down, and then the LAX take control. So it's just another beat down on Veterans of War, just out, like, very aggressive. Like Pope said, this is not a technical wrestling match, it's just a beat down. These teams hate each other over this very, very xenophobic storyline that I do not like. And there's a huge Wilcox takes a bit more control back, but and then he goes for the pin. Yeah, so Wilcox takes control, beats down Santana Ortiz, goes for the pin, but referee gets pulled out of the ring by Conan. Then later on in the match, some more stuff happens. Referee gets back into the ring. It's okay. Match continues. Wilcox, Mayweather get cornered by Santana and Ortiz, just nonstop. Like, in a tag team match, you always want to keep the opponent towards your turnbuckle so you can't go tag. That's what happened, basically. Then there's a hot tag for Wilcox and Ortiz. And then the match continues. Mayweather's outside of the ring for some reason, beating down on Homicide and stuff like that. I think it was Homicide. It was Homicide and then Santana he was beating on. But then Conan comes behind with a pipe. I think it was a pipe or a bat of some sort. I didn't really see it. And then he hits Mayweather behind the leg with it, taking out Mayweather. And then Santana and Ortiz go in the ring and hit their big duo tag team move off the top rope. But like, Santana goes for the cutter while Ortiz goes for a powerbomb at the same time, and that ends Wilcox for the pin. And LAX are your new GFW and TNA tag team champions. So that was a very interesting ending. I thought they would have gone with GFW titles to VOW, and then TNA titles to LAX, and then make a unification match at Slammiversary. But that might not be the case anymore. So I'm giving this match only 2.5 stars. Like I said, the match itself was pretty good. It was shorter than it should have been, but I guess it's a little tease, a little taste of what's to come at Slammiversary. I feel like what are you gonna say? Veterans of War will have their rematch clause, and they're gonna want it at Slammiversary. That's what I think is gonna happen, since LAX have both sets of titles now. But it's going to be a weird unification match since they have the titles. But oh well. So yeah, 2.5 stars. Mostly for the fact that the match was a bit short, my taste. Even though I get that they're trying to make a little like a preview out of it, it wasn't really the real deal. I don't know. I didn't really. I thought it was too short. Another thing is I absolutely despise this xenophobic storyline they're going with here, with making LAX the bad guy just because they want Latino heritage and promote Latinos and stuff like that, and this hating on the American flag is. They're making it very xenophobic and reverse xenophobic a bit for no reason. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not like from those places, so like I see it clearer. I mean, but some people don't think it's xenophobic. I think it's very xenophobic. So yeah, I didn't like it at all. So now on to the next match. Not the next match. Oh wait, never mind. We have a segment in between. So JB and Joseph Parks come up to the back, and Mackenzie Mitchell asks them if they're ready for the challenge at Slammiversary. JB says no, but Joseph Parks says yes, and they will train for the next 4 weeks up until Slammiversary, and they'll learn everything about tag team wrestling possible. And then JB asks him if he lost his mind, and then walks off. And Joseph Parks like, wait up, and runs after him. So I like how they're going with this storyline, building another storyline within the storyline with JB not wanting to wrestle, but Joseph Parks saying we have to do this. It's not pride, but like we have to do this to get rid of get rid of Josh Matthews and Scott Steiner, even though Scott Steiner will destroy them. So anyways, on to the next match officially now. Andrew Everett versus Low Ki for the X Division Championship. And yeah. And Sanjay Dutt is on commentary. So this match, I'll go over the big points because it was a rather longer match than the other ones. So for this match and the main event, I didn't take as many notes as the rest because they were quite long matches, and I don't want to just bore you guys with just the technical stuff. If you guys seen the match, you guys can follow along with my review. I don't want to make my review, like I said earlier, purely just explaining the match to you guys. So yeah, for this X Division match, there's a test of strength at the beginning, but obviously Low Ki being I think he's a heel, but like the fans cheer him anyways. But Low Ki uses cheap moves like test of strength, then he goes for like a side kick, Andrew Everett dodges it, Low Ki tries again with Andrew Everett, and then he goes for submission lock and then stuff like that. So they're trying to go for a test of strength, but didn't really work out. Then there's an arm drag at the end of those 3 test of strengths. Low Ki gets Andrew Everett an arm drag. He controls for a while, like a very long time this match, but then Andrew Everett gets his babyface comeback. But it's short-lived, and Low Ki gets right back into control. Then near the end of the match, there's some very botched moves on Andrew Everett's part. I don't know if they were, people can debate it. I thought it was a mistake. Some people thought it was part of the match. But Andrew Everett botched a Hurricane Rana and a springboard near the end of that match there. So he hit a Hurricane Rana on Low Ki, then went for a springboard, but those both moves pretty much botched. And then Low Ki drop kicks Andrew Everett into a turnbuckle and then hits the Warrior's Way to give him the victory. A pin victory over Andrew Everett. So I'm giving this match 3 stars, minus the botches. Those botches were small, happens to everyone, especially in the X Division. I understand more why there could be botches in a match like that. One thing that I absolutely love about the X Division nowadays is that they finally brought back the high speed, high caliber wrestling. Back a few months ago, I really wasn't feeling the X Division anymore. Like, if it wasn't for the crappy green X Division graphic happening before the match, you wouldn't even know it's an X Division match. There was no high flying. It wasn't very fast paced, but they brought that back here with Low Ki and this Andrew Everett match. It was very fast paced throughout. Not as much high flying, but there's still lots of technical fast moves, which made it very interesting to watch. So I'm still giving it 3 stars, minus those little botches at the end. That didn't take too much off the rating. I still don't understand why Andrew Everett gets another title shot here. I guess it's a rematch clause for the Ultimate X. But now it seems with Sanjay Dutt on commentary, they're heading towards a Sanjay Dutt versus Low Ki feud. It's kind of a shame how they were about to give the title to Andrew Everett, and now it's all gone out the window for 2 TNA guys that came back after like 15 years. Like, it should have gone to at least the new guys so they can carry the torch, but they're giving it to older TNA guys that should be used as enhancement talent. Sorry there, I just hit my mic I'm talking with my hands, but you guys don't really see that. Anyways, next match. So Alberto El Patron versus EC3, number 1 contendership versus Global Force Wrestling title in a 6 sides of steel match. So this match was very, very back and forth. At the beginning, Alberto takes control, but then EC3 takes back control. EC3 was trying to climb out of the cage most of the match, trying to take the easy way out, while Alberto was trying to go for a pin submission. In this match, it was just a very steady, very well-rounded, good match. So I didn't really note down too many big spots. Like obviously there was a few really close calls and stuff like that near the end, but there's not really much of note that I want to really point out with you guys. So, not necessarily saying this match is bad. This match has one of the highest ratings, along with the opening segment. I gave this match 3.5 stars. It's definitely not the best main event that they put on this set of tapings. They've had better ones at this set of tapings specifically, but it's definitely not the worst. This one was still really, really good. I had tons of fun watching it. It was a very overall steady, well-groomed match. Like I said, there's nothing crazy happening. Nothing like bad happening. It was very steady throughout. So overall, I think it worked out very, very, very well. It's a shame that I don't have too much to talk about. I wanted to focus more on the main event because main event is always the most important. But I really don't have nothing to talk about. It was just an overall well-rounded match, and I'll go over the ending. I didn't tell you guys who won. Wow, I'm stupid. So Alberto wins. Yep, Alberto El Patron wins. So he retains his GFW title, but is also number 1 contender for the TNA Grand Championship. What am I saying? The TNA World Heavyweight Championship. So yeah. So the GFW title, is it really the golden ticket? Because now he's going to Slammiversary to face Bobby Lashley, not because of that title, but because of the number 1 contendership that he won from EC3. So was this GFW title ever the golden ticket to go there? I don't think so. But obviously this is probably going to be a GFW title unification with the TNA title, and we're going to get finally an Impact title. Because lots of fans were against them still having the TNA initials written on the belts when it's no longer TNA, it's Impact. I understand that. But yeah. Oh, one thing I completely forgot about because I don't want to talk about it. I don't think this is pretty stupid. I don't like it. But anyways, before this match, before the Alberto versus EC3 match, Hornswoggle obviously was in the stands throughout the whole episode, but then there's a sign that appeared behind Hornswoggle saying "Revenge" with an arrow pointing down to him. And then Rockstar Spud came out, was behind the sign basically, and attacked Swoggle. Threw him over the barrier and then beat him down with the hammer. Again. Well, basically what Hornswoggle did to Rockstar Spud, Rockstar did to, what do you call him? Hornswoggle. Beat him down. Hornswoggle was bleeding. Referees came out, tried to stop it. Rockstar Spud was still beating down on him. Rockstar Spud still has a very damaged leg. He was limping throughout throughout the segment, I mean. But overall, I have no reason to care about this. Like, it's Hornswoggle and Rockstar Spud. Rockstar Spud deserves so much better. Rockstar Spud is very, very talented, but yet he gets put into these stupid comedy storylines purely because he's physique and how small he is, and because of his quirky little personality thing that he had going on a while back with the bow tie and stuff like that. Before he was after he was a heel, when he became a face. Personally, I think Rockstar Spud should go back to becoming a heel, being the mic for someone. I loved it when he was with Aaron Rex because he was sort of the mic. He wasn't really a talker. The group Aaron Rex would talk, but I like that he used the valet. I love it when he's part with someone else. If they don't want to do that, at least put him in the X Division because he could be a good X Division wrestler. He's good for that too. So I just think his talent is wasted here against this feud like Hornswoggle. At least take it serious like that Braxton Sutter storyline. Anyways, to end this episode of Fireguy's Hot Scale off, I just want to say that this episode, overall, the rating, I'll say that it was, I'd give it 3 stars. Like, this wasn't the best wrestling wise episode of Impact that they put for the set of tapings, but it was definitely interesting. Lots of continuation of storylines, a lot more build for Slammiversary. So the overall product was good, even though the wrestling quality diminished a bit from past weeks. It was still way better than some of the episodes they put on in the past. So overall, a very, very good episode of Impact. I think it was really good. I was interested throughout all of it. Next week, did they announce too much next week? Yeah, I don't think they announced at all any matches for next week. They're probably online somewhere, guys. The India tapings are already over, so you could probably find non-spoiler match listings for that. So yeah, I want to give a big thanks to Talon and Old School Heel for giving me the opportunity to do this. Hopefully you guys enjoy, and hopefully I can make this a weekly thing for you guys. I really want to do this type of thing. Don't worry, the quality will get better. Now, I'm not talking just technical with the mic. I am building an audio room right now, so I'm sorry if you ever heard noises in the background throughout this video. I tried to go in the quieter room in my house, the quietest room in my house, to film this. My mic is already the best quality it can get right now, but yeah, that'll upgrade over time though. The audio quality, I'll upgrade what I'm saying over time. I'll learn how to do my notes more properly during the show, how to properly say things, explain myself better and better. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Yet again, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I hope you guys enjoy this demo or the premiere episode of Fireguy's Hot Scale. My name's Fireguy, and I'll see you guys hopefully next week for the next episode of Impact Wrestling in India.